What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys the weekly outlook basically that I have for this week on NAS 100. And I'm also going to be here with one of my mentees that's going to be listening along. So if you hear him talking, that's more than likely who it is and you're not going crazy. So with that being said, let me move my mic a little bit down so you can see my face. Let me just wait for him to join, and we're going to get right into this little breakdown right now. Let's see. All right,
I'm good.
all right, you can see the screen, everything too, charts,
Yeah,
and you can hear me.
yeah, I can hear you, but I cannot see the chat right now, but I can only see you on the screen.
All right, I got you. You can see it.
Yeah, we're good. We're live.
All right, All right, we about to get right on into it.
Okay, thanks you. On your call, bro.
All right. So the first thing I always do, I always start off on a higher time frame. Even when I do the weekly, even though I know it's not really gonna affect what I'm looking at for this week because I know it's looking more long term, I like to get a good idea on where certain areas are. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna mark up these highs up here. I'm gonna just do this with red and this here because that's like the little range we're in. And as you can see, we have these two down candles, which is going to be our bullish order block that price previously had a reaction off of and had a push. But as you can see right now, it came back lower. And in my opinion, I think it's more than likely going to keep on coming lower, because if this was a true move, more than likely this would have, after we had this bullish engulfing, after coming into the order block, we more than likely should have kept pushing from there if it was a true move. But as you can see, price came down and is looking to keep coming lower. So what am I thinking for now? Right now, price, I'm overall bearish on the higher time frame. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark up this right here. This is going to be the monthly low right here. So I'm gonna have, this is going to be, I don't think I have a thing for it, but I'm gonna just leave this as red. I'm gonna mark up the monthly low and the monthly high. So that's going to be this one candle right here. So each one of these candles is 1 month because I'm on a higher time frame. And now I'm going to go down to the weekly. So now that these are the big areas that price is more than likely going to target based off the higher time frame, all of these lows. So these lows right here, I'm going to put an eye just to watch them, because this is ideally where I think price is going to be going for. Because mind you, this is the weekly time frame, so we're not going to have a push right here in one day. It's going to take time to get to these areas, but we're just going to slowly make our way down. But now that I have this, I know that price is more than likely, if we're bearish, we're going to more than likely come reach for these lows right here, because I overall want to see price come all the way down and clear this low down here. So this is just a shorter term target that price is more than likely to come to, because as you can see, price isn't showing any sort of likelihood to try to push any higher. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark up these weekly highs and weekly lows. So this candle right here, the weekly high, and this candle's low, is going to be the weekly low right here. Now, since monthly I'm bearish, weekly time frame I'm bearish, we're going to come down to the daily time frame. What am I seeing on the daily? On the daily, I can easily see that right now, price is showing a little bit of a willingness to want to reject. And what is rejecting? I'm looking to the left. Is rejecting after clearing all these lows right here. So one thing I would do is I would pull a fib from this low, and when I pull a fib, I always use the bodies. So from this body all the way to this body, and as you can see, it's already came below these fib areas, so that's something I would no longer look at. So based off of that, there is a chance that price may potentially have a short-term retracement to the top side. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pull a fib from this high. Why this high? Because this is that higher time frame high that I was looking at, and I'm going to pull it to here. So I'm going to draw where I drew it from this high to this low. And I use the bodies of the candle when I draw the fibs. So as you can see, now we have an area where price may potentially want to retrace to based off of these fibs. And if you don't know what a fib is, a fib is basically just showing you an area of a discount or a premium in price. So it's just showing you a distance of how far something retraced. So 70% or 80%, 100%. That just means that it had a full or 70 or half retracement. That's all it really is. A fib isn't really anything special. It's just showing you something. It's just showing you a percentage at the end of the day in a certain area. But as you can see, at this 38.20% level, we have this last up candle right here. So that's confluence with this little area right there. So that's one area. And if you look even higher, we had this order block here. These 1, 2, 3, 4 up candles, and within there, you can see that we also have a small gap. So this is going to be our fair value gap right in here. From this candle, from this wick right here to this wick, we have a gap in this candle. As you can see, there was no wicks in here the whole time. And this gap is within this order block right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 up candles. So what I'm going to do is, can I do this? I'm going to go to the 4-day time frame and see how that's one up candle, because all time frames are the same. So if you see multiple up candles, it's going to be, if you go to a different time frame like this, it's going to look different, because you got to keep in mind every chart is going to be the same price regardless. It's just a different time frame, so it's just showing you something different. But if you understand, like if you understand how time frames work, you can see how this would be an area. And as you can see within that area, I have this fib along with, if you also look price wise, where is it at? If you look where we are price wise, we have 12,400 right in here. Then you also have 12,000 right here, and it's going to be this red one. We have 12,000 right there. So if you also look where we are price wise, all this area in here makes sense now. But mind you, this is only if we have a retracement. So now we know where price is likely to go to if we have a retracement. So these areas, one of these areas right here. And also that would mean that we clear the weekly high, and we could potentially have a run that high and then keep coming lower if it's a reversal, or we can run it, have a retracement, keep going higher if it's gonna keep on trending. But now we got to keep in mind, what if price keeps going lower? If price keeps going lower, all we're gonna have to do now is we're gonna have to look for setups based off of the intraday time frame now, because now we're not in an area that we would want to buy, in my opinion. So in my opinion, if we're going into the week and this doesn't start to push higher, I'm going to be strictly looking to sell. But if this starts to reject even more when the market opens and show a willingness to go higher, I'm going to keep on buying until we get to these areas in here. That's what I would want to do. But as of right now, I am bearish. So now that we have the higher time frame analysis, we're going to go down to the lower time frame, and we're going to get our intraday analysis. Because mind you, like I said, that's all higher time frame. So all those things are going to take time to play out. But now we're going to go down to here, and we're going to go to the 15-minute time frame. The 15-minute time frame is primarily what I like to use. And as you can see, I have some indicators on here, but the indicator is only showing you the Asian session range along with the 12 a.m. open, along with showing you the dividers for each day. So this was Friday's price action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark up Friday's previous day's high. We got the previous day's high right here. Then we got Friday's previous day's low right here. And we had the 12 a.m. open and the Asian session low and Asian session high. With the Asian session low, I'm going to draw over this line just so you can see where this high and low are based off of this. So one thing I'm looking at is price is looking to go higher, and based off of this higher time frame, we want to see price potentially make a run for 12,000. And if you look where 12,000 is over here, 12,000 is all the way up here. So that is a pretty far away, as you can see. So like that's why I want to be bearish ideally. But once we start to get a break of structure and show a willingness to potentially want to go higher, then we can start looking to go long. Because we know that based off the higher time frame, that's what we want to see. But until we see a reason to price wants to go long, we're gonna keep trying to sell, because that's what more than likely gonna happen, because we've had multiple down days and we haven't had a bullish day yet. So what are the chances of getting a bullish day? It's gonna be less likely. So we're just gonna stick to what is more likely going to happen. So if you look at it like this, I'm gonna pull a fib from this previous day's high to this previous day's low. So I drew the fib from this high of the body candle to this low of the body candle. And as you can see, we get these areas in here that price could potentially have a retracement to. And if you look at the 38.20% level, price already had a reaction from here and it's pushing already. So more than likely it's going to keep on pushing higher, and I'm going to look to see price come in this area. Now, what is one thing that I see right now? One thing that I'm looking at, because when I have one confluence in an area, I always look to see if there's anything else, right? One thing I just noticed is we also have another fair value gap right in here. Boom. So right in here, we have this gap in between these candles. And what is that gap also in? That gap is in this last up candle for this down move, which is going to be our 15-minute bearish order block right within here. So this is also going to be an area already for interest that I'm going to be looking at. Now that is an area that could potentially happen, but what can also happen is price could make a run for this high right here. This high with the red one. It could also make a run for this high and potentially want to have a false break scenario, potentially like this. Because keep in mind, that could also happen because this will get filled. There's no saying that we will come into this area, into this gap, and keep coming lower. There's no saying that. I just know that this gap is going to want to get filled at some point. That's all I know. So it might get filled and keep going higher, and then it can come, say, have a short-term retracement back into that area to then keep going higher. But I know that this is going to be an area of interest, whether it's going to go higher or lower. So what could also happen is we could also make a run for this high, clear these highs, and then keep coming lower after that. That is also something that could happen because it might want to stop other people out thinking like this. But those are two scenarios that I would watch for in this specific area based off of confirmations. Now, if I say go to the higher time frame, I'm going to want to draw a fib from around this high all the way to the low and see where that matches up with on that lower time frame. So just like this, I'm going to want to see where the 38.20% level is just because that's the closest one. We're going to look based off of here. And that 38.20% level is all the way above all these highs. So we would need to, just for me to be extremely bearish or have a big target if I was bullish, this area up here, that just ideally means we're going to have a retracement up in here. But as of right now, we're in a weird area where price is falling and it is just melting very bad. So like I said, I'm going to stick to the bear side. I don't trade Sundays, so I always wait for this day to close. So when the market opens, it may do things that may change my, say, perspective on what I think is going to happen. We could make a big push. You never really know with the market. But this is what I think based off of what I have right now. But what is more than likely going to stay is going to be my higher time frame analysis because it's not going to change that much. At least with the higher time frame, 1 or 2 days is only going to give me a better idea on what is going to happen. Because if we keep printing down candles, then what's the likelihood of us having a retracement right now? We're more than likely going to run for these weekly lows and come for this monthly low that I was talking about, right? So as of right now, that's all I'm thinking. I'm higher time frame, long-term bearish, but on the short side, short term, I think we could get some push to, I say, 11,800 potentially within the week. So maybe around Wednesday, Thursday, and then we could potentially keep on dropping lower from there. But until then, this is all I really have for it. So that's going to be my weekly outlook for this week on NAS 100. And right now, if you have any questions, you could just ask them. And just, do you have any questions so far? Like,
Yeah. I understand everything you just said. Like everything, it seems to make sense right now, and I really like how you do the chart thing. You make it look so easy, bro. Like
it's just it's having a system. Just do the same stuff every time. Like if you have a step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you do those same steps every day, it's just repetitive at some point. Like I always do the same stuff in my opinion. I just look for similar things, if that makes sense.
all right. So just to confirm, do you use the FIBO just to confirm that the order blocks are valid? Is it the FIBO that is?
I wouldn't say it confirms it. It just gives me an idea on where we are in price. Meaning if we're in a discount or not, because the fib itself isn't a tool. Like I said, it's just showing you where you're in the discount. So if you say, for example, if I go like this, if I have a fib, all I'm going to be doing is measuring how far is likely to come lower, because the lower in price you come down to, the more likely big orders are going to come in. Because like I always give the analogy, when you buy something, you want to buy for the lowest price possible, right?
Yes.
So you want to buy it for the lowest price, so you can catch the whole back up move. So you're basically getting as close as possible to where the move originally started, because you could get an up here, but now the likelihood it could still come a little bit lower. You get stopped out, could come a little bit lower, but if you wait, the worst that could happen is you take one loss. You get what I'm saying? And you'll have a higher chance of getting it, and you have also a better risk to reward, if that makes sense. So, but now that's his own thing. But now when that aligns with an order block, that just adds another level of confirmation. Like, oh, that's another reason that this could have a reaction, because there's no saying that it's gonna. There's no saying it's gonna go all the way a different direction. You're just betting on it's gonna have a reaction. That's really all you bet for when you're having confirmations like this. I don't know if this is going to be an area that is going to make price push all the way lower. I just know that we're going to get a reaction. We could have a short-term retracement right here, then push higher. But I knew that there was a reaction here. So I might be wrong that time long term. But next time I catch a trade like this, I might get a small reaction. But then it might keep going lower now. It's just, you got to keep thinking long term. Based off of all these confirmations, I just know price is gonna have struggle going to or from that area. That's what I'm betting on. And that's when it comes down to just having a system, because now if that doesn't work, you just have to be like, okay, now I'm not gonna take another trade, I'll be back tomorrow. And then if you want to trade tomorrow, now you're already 2 days ahead. So now you have another 2 times you could lose before you're back to break even. So it's just taking it one day at a time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, bro. That makes a lot of sense.
Do you have any what other questions would you have so far?
Yeah, regarding everything that you just said, I think I understood.
Okay.
I need to practice more and try to see all of this on,
what I would
analyze myself with it.
What I would say is, if you don't already, make sure you write down as like I have a system, like have it written down just so you can visually see it and follow it each day, because you're not gonna have to visually read it every day, but if you do it long enough, you already know what you got to do, and it just comes repetitive. Also have a journal, and in the journal make sure that you have each thing that you look for.
Yeah.
You got the journal in there?
Yeah, I do have the journal.
Bet.
One few things. Yeah, bro. And sorry, you started from the monthly charts, right?
Yeah, I start on the monthly.
All right, and then you go down to daily.
And mind you, I don't always do that either. I only go to the monthly maybe like once a month, because it's not going to change that much. Like one day isn't going to change that much. So when you're on the monthly, but the weekly, I'll look like maybe the middle of the week to kind of see how the candle's looking. The daily I'm looking at every day, because each day is going to be something new and you're getting a new candle each day. And then the lower time frames, I strictly just look at like the 15-minute. I don't really look at the hour like that. Sometimes I look at the 4-hour, but mainly I'm on the 15-minute. That's where I do most of my markups. Just because because mind you, like I said earlier, you can see every time frame from one time frame. Like I knew that there was going to be an order block there based off of a lower time frame, because you got to keep in mind that the market is fractal. So it's all going to be the same, just a different candle. That's all it is. Once you understand that concept, say, okay, that makes sense. You really don't need to switch back and forth the time frames. But mind you, I'm not gonna know what the monthly time frame looks like based off of a 5-minute. So some things you gotta go higher. But I think the 15-minute is good, because you can see, look how many days I can see. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 days within the 15-minute time frame, and it gives me a good idea on where price is likely to go. And I have a good enough. I see a lot of candles also. Like say for example right here, this is a right in here. See this right here?
Yeah. Is that another block?
And see how that lines up with this 38.20% we had based off of that big retracement we did right here. This flip. Now, if we count these candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's 15 times 8?
Well, I'm not really good with maths, bro.
Me either, bro.
I can count that up.
So that's like 2 hours. So if I go to the 2-hour time frame, look at that. This right here. It's not identical, but look.
Yeah.
It's still damn near the same area. If you go back to the 15-minute, look how it is. See? It's not gonna be perfect, but mind you, this was like a false break right here. So see how it pushed up and immediately came back in lower, and then see this wick here. Look at that. Yeah. See, but it's just, it comes with practice at the end of the day. But with that being said, I'm gonna end the video off. I'm gonna do more with you, but I'm gonna end the video off. So if you enjoyed it, if you found it helpful in any way, shape, or form, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna be doing more videos with, matter of fact, say your name and everything, just so they know who you are, because they're probably gonna see you in more videos, just so they have an idea who you are and everything.
Oh yeah, bro. Thanks a lot for the chance. My name is Pepe Lososi when I'm from South Africa, bro. I really appreciate
Oh
being
yeah,
here, bro. And for the past few weeks, it's only been a few days, and I've learned a lot. So I can't wait, bro. I
of
really can't
course.
wait.
Yeah, we gonna get you right, bro. We gonna get you right. It's all up to you. At the end of the day, I can give you the information, but it's up to you to actually put the work in.
Implementing. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna keep trying, bro. I'm gonna keep trying. Sorry, before you end the video, it's just that you haven't spoke about it yet, but I was wondering if you could help me a bit about the risk reward, bro, because that's
What's
what
the word?
the most. Yes, is it possible that you can only risk a certain amount? Let's just say I have a $200 account and I only wanna risk $25. Is that possible when you
The
enter?
thing is, okay, you gotta understand too. When there's like two different ways of trading, in my opinion. There's like a bigger risk side of trading when you have a smaller account size, because you can only risk a certain amount, because you can't risk say 1% on $100 account. It's going to be hard to risk $1. But if you're on to say a $10,000 account, risking 1% is going to be a little bit easier, so it's more consistent. So one thing I say to people, that's why I recommend funding, because you can keep the small risk and then make a lot of money from it, compared to someone that say they put 1,000 into a trading account. If they want to risk
Yeah,
1%, they're only going to risk $10. So they're more than likely going to try to risk a little bit more to build it faster. So that's there's two different ways of trading. When you're in a smaller account, it's possible to build risking 1-2%. But I would say on a smaller accounts, you're probably going to risk more than likely 10, maybe 15% per trade. And that's just more than likely what it is. But that still gives you maybe 10, not it's 8 trades that you could get before you lose. It's just like two different ways you got to go about it, like account building and then account like trying to maintain an account, if that makes sense.
yeah.
But it's
That
possible.
makes sense, bro.
But also, if you're trading like indexes, it's going to be harder too, because it's going to be a dollar for every point regardless. You can't like, but with currencies, you can actually risk. You can like make
Makes
you
sense.
could risk $10 compared to on the index. It's going to be hard to risk $10. It just depends what you trade to, if that
Okay.
makes sense. But yeah, risk reward is
Yeah,
everything though. That's something I would really focus on.
yeah, it's just that the formula that I have with the risk reward, I'm not sure. It hasn't been working for me. It was only peppered on one trade, but the rest of the trades they just something else, bro.
What I would
That was
do is, here's a little thing. Do something like
uh-huh.
this. Make a little, like on your fib, have something like this. There's a risk reward. So it'll be like this. Basically, wherever you enter the trade, you'll put the risk reward tool right there. And you'll put where your stop loss is. And it shows you where your targets are based off of what you're risking. So say for example, I got in the trade here. Say I got into a trade right there, right? I will take my fib, put it where I got in. I'll pull, I did it backwards, but I'll pull, damn, where? I'll pull it to where my stop loss is at, and I'll pull it to where my entry is, and it'll show me where my targets will be based off of what I'm risking. So if I'm risking $50, this would be $50, this would be 100, this would be 150, and that would be my targets. So what I would do is make sure
Yeah,
when you do this, don't take it off until you hit, I say 2. When I hit my TP1, I break even. When I hit TP2, that's when I look to start taking a partial, or I'll take the full thing off depending on what it is. TP3, I'm definitely looking to take a partial, but it depends how fast price moves, because if price moves like this in 2 seconds, I might wait a little bit longer because it's probably going to keep pushing higher. But if it takes an hour to get to TP2, I might just take it off just because I don't want to be in the trade, if that makes sense. But do this. This is what
yeah,
I do. This is what I do. It just gives you, now you know where to take partials. And then you can
yeah.
match that with, say, if there's like, say if there's like something like this and there's highs right here, and then it lines up with that. And now you're just like, okay, I might wait for it to run those highs, and TP2 is right there, type of thing. It depends. It's all situational at the end of the day. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I can, here, if you want to screenshot these,
Yeah, okay, yes, bro, your Fibonacci levels there. I would like to see. Okay, yes, thanks. I have. So I'll set it up as soon as we end this call. Damn, bro, you just make it seem so easy, bro. I've been struggling I've been moving
Nah,
my
it's not easy. It's just having a system. It's making a system. So now you know where to take parts. It's just a system.
hours.
Just
Yeah,
having a
I've
system.
moved my stop loss like way too early, and then it's come back to take out the stop
Now
loss,
you
and
know where to
it's
do it.
still
Like if you lose a trade, you lose it. But now you know where you're taking the partials, and don't take it off too early. You have to like be disciplined enough to wait.
okay.
And if you lose, you lose. But that's why TP when I break even, if it comes stops me out, I might look to get in again. But at least I let the trade stop me out like I was supposed to.
Okay, I understood, bro. The price are clear, bro.
You got the FIB settings.
Yes, I do have this. So I took the screenshot.
All right, but yeah. With that being said, I'm probably gonna end it off right here. This was a nice little, short little video that we got to do. You enjoyed it though. You want to do more of these?
Bro, I need
It
more
was
because
helpful.
that is very helpful, man. It was super helpful, bro. Like,
Yeah, I was glad
I
to
really
help. Glad to help.
appreciate it.
But now, with that being said, I'm gonna end the video off. So everyone, make sure
Oh,
stay tuned for next one. We're gonna see what we're gonna get him right. And like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it, found this video helpful. And with that being said, appreciate everyone for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.